And welcome to a brand new life, to a brand new day. Reporting to you all the way from the wastelands of California, deep inside a boiler room. My name is Michael. The pleasure is all yours. This is a very different kind of show, a place where we don't feel so alone. No matter what you do choose to believe, we absolutely admire you for your curiosity. Tonight, we welcome some new blood. Mr. Alkaline City joins us this evening. He is a fellow truth seeker. He's been quite excited to join us here this evening, and he's finally here live and direct, and we will be talking about everything under the sun. You two are invited to join in. Be patient, you'll see the number on your screen. All I ask of you, if you may please do so, is turn down your listening device before you make that call. That would really help all of us here tremendously, or else you'll hear something like an echo, and that is not good. Not good at all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me into your hearts and into your minds. Here we are again on a night like this. Surprise, surprise, I hope you're feeling good tonight. We've got various dark matters to dissect. For those who are new, and for those who missed out, I recommend listening to that last episode with Marshall Masters. He joined us and we went over all sorts of the latest musings, and we took some of your calls. I hope you heard some of that. And again, thank you so much for those emails. It's always nice to hear from all of you out there. Make sure to drop me a line over at michaeldecon.com or via Twitter at michaeldecon. Now, without further ado, let's get down to business and bring in the guest who is patiently waiting now. And yes, I apologize to him greatly. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me, Michael. It's an honor to be here. It's definitely my pleasure.
Very nice. I'm glad you're here. We have all sorts of things to jump into.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. And you emailed me right at the
Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh,
Wait, you said I emailed you.
yes, at the right time. I thought you were gonna finish my sentence for me there. I was waiting for you to take the cue.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's okay. We have a little bit of a delay here, I noticed, but don't worry. The internet will fix itself, and that's one of the issues I've been experiencing here with the internet and the heat. For those that don't know, I'm actually stuck out here in Southern California in what I like to call the wastelands. Very hot. The internet has been down, and there was some digital clipping going on uh, a long time ago here, even before we started with the show.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and I'm over here in the gloomy weathers of the Washington, D.C. area. Very gloomy, very rainy. It's muggy outside. It's dark weather. Very dark.
Right. And I did want to ask you, how the hell did you find this show? It's very difficult to find this program. We are like in a dark corner in the interwebs.
Yeah. Well, me being a critical thinking truth seeker that I am, um, I get into just researching, every aspect of just, from, the common reality to the most deepest conspiracy. And my algorithms are just set to, you know, anything that has to do with, categories that I research, which are pretty much any and everything. So one day I think it was one of the a radio show. Let me see which one I think it's called. I'm quite sure it was like My Tuner Radio, and there's a it just consists of a lot of different stations, and you can go. I guess there's area where they have conspiracy talks and stuff like that, and I guess they play different radio shows on there. And I guess one of your shows was just was just playing that evening. I don't know how they got your show, and I just clicked onto your show, and I was just really amazed at the topics that were being talked about. A lot of it was pretty much in retro to a lot of the stuff that I speak on my channel, and that I've been speaking, and promoting for years. So I was very intrigued. Um, there was a lot of different shows that were listed as well that you could just click on. This was like of just all of your programs. Like I could click on like all of your past tense shows, and I started clicking on a few more and getting a little more in depth to your show. And I was like, you. It reminded me of Walter Cronkite mixed with William Cooper.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
comparison right there. Wow, I've never heard that before.
yeah. So I was like, I said, Michael Deacon, he has there's just a way about you, and I was like, this is a show that I would definitely love to come and share to the public, a lot of my knowledge and my research and my teachings as well. So that was pretty much how me and you you know well that gave me the awe to want to pursue trying to get into talkings with you. And it just so happened that yeah, you touched back with me, we've collaborated, and here we are today.
Very nice. And what exactly was it that got you started doing all these the YouTube channel and you getting involved so deeply as you have over the years? I believe it started with something like 9/11, correct?
Started about that time, about 9/11. Um, there was a I used to live in New York City in downtown Brooklyn, and I knew a lot of people that were of the Islamic nation that were Muslim, and a lot of people that were of the 5% nation. They're considered 5%ers. And they were there was one specific 5%er that was a friend of mine, and he was not black. Um, he wasn't African American. He was a Muslim. This was a white Italian kid. He was Italian, and he would always come and preach to me.
A white Italian.
A white Italian. That's what he
Nice.
was.
Love
A
that.
white a white Italian, and he was of the Muslim nation. He converted. He was
Oh,
a
we
5%.
converted.
Yeah, he was of the 5% nation, and I believe he had did some time in jail, and he was in Rikers Island, and he was in a few different facilities, and that's what got him into the 5% nation. So he started doing a lot of research, and he was the one who put me onto William Cooper and told me about Behold the Pale Horse. And he would always give me these predictions and stuff like that. He told me there was going to be a terror attack prior to 9/11. He said that they were going to he said that the government was going to hold something, and they were going to one of our major emphasis in New York City, like a Yankee Stadium, or like a Madison Square Garden, or a Statue of Liberty, or like a Empire State Building, or a Twin Tower. He mentioned that there was going to be something you know detrimental to one of those areas. There was going to be a big attack, and he explained to me quite a bit of things that came into fruition. He told me that we were going to have a black president that was going to be Muslim, and I told him that was crazy. I said the government would never let, you know, as racist as the government is, they would never let a black man become a president. And this was after 9/11, because when 9/11 occurred, he told me, "You see, I told you something was going to happen." And he said, "Listen to what I'm telling you. There's going to be a black president, and he's going to be a Muslim." And I said, "Listen, now you're crazy." You know, I was like, a black president. You got to think about it. This is a racist, government, 1% elite, organization, conglomerate organization, and they're gonna allow. We've just been attacked by so-called Al Qaeda.
Right.
Now they're gonna allow not only this black man to be president, but he's gonna be a Muslim as well. I said that is definitely not gonna happen. You're out of your mind. So he was just like, do me a favor, read the Behold the Pale Horse, so forth and so on. He said, and a lot of this stuff is listed into the Revelation. So I was like, the Revelation? Yeah, he was like, yes, the last chapter in the Bible. So it kind of got me into dabbling into the Bible. I started reading it from the front to the back, from the Old Testament to the New, from the book of Genesis to the Revelation.
So you got into
Um,
religion due to this.
Not in religion. What I started doing was I started separating religion, because I basically I had family. I grew up as a Christian, but I have family that were Catholic. I have family that were Pentecostal. I knew people that were Mormon. I knew people that were Baptist. I knew people that were Catholic. You know, I knew people that were Jewish. I knew people that were Muslim. Every religion, everybody claimed they had the best religion. So at the time, I started exploring religions. I went to a Pentecostal church, sat in there for a minute, a few times. Went to a Catholic church. Went to a Muslim mosque. You know, one of my friends, his parents, they were custodians at a synagogue. So we would creep into the synagogue. They had like secret entrances where you can go during their their times of teachings. We would go and see what they were preaching in the synagogues.
Right. So
Even the
you don't discriminate. In other words, you get along with everyone. Right.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
no discrimination. This was just seeking. This was me trying to find out who was actually telling the truth. Everybody saying my religion is the best, mine's is this, and mine's is that. So this was just a way for me just to investigate on my own. As for me to say, oh, a Catholic is wrong, a Pentecostal is wrong, a Muslim is wrong, or this is wrong. This guy's a radical, this one is not. I couldn't segregate people like that. I wanted to see, you know, are you really pretty much telling the truth about this religion? And when it was all said and done, pretty much every religion was basically, teaching the same. They
Basically
were,
the same shit,
yeah,
different sort of connotation. Right.
yeah, they were all preaching, the love for their God and, how much, their God is going to come back as there will be a Messiah. The Jews believe their Messiah was David. You know, Christians and Catholics, we believe our Messiah is Jesus. And the Muslims have their Messiah, Allah's their God. You know, so everybody just basically had a Messiah and a religion. That's what I understood. And
Right.
so that led me into saying, you know what? Let me start doing a little bit more research and a little more readings. So I went and I started this. No, then about this was during the election when the McCain and Obama administration started coming into play, and I said, wow. I started really my white Italian friend. I started realizing that a lot of stuff that he was saying was coming into fruition. So I said, he wasn't crazy after all. There's a black Muslim running for president. And I said, if this guy gets elected, oh my God. He told me that this would happen. So this got me to say, you know what? I go back into a lot of the stuff that we spoke about, and he always emphasized to me, you need to read the Behold the Pale Horse. You need to read the Behold the Pale Horse. You need to read William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, Behold the Pale Horse. He emphasized it to me so much.
And you finally did.
Finally said, you know what? I'm gonna open this damn book and I'm gonna see what it's about. He had gave me a copy, an original copy, and I had it for years, just in my shelf. Just it was
Nice.
just collecting dust.
It's pretty hard to
Beside,
find, by the way. I hope you still have that.
it wasn't a hard copy; it was a paperback.
Hmm.
So I don't mean it like an exact original,
Ah.
you know.
Yes.
But yeah, he definitely he had it like he kept a lot of he kept the Quran. And he kept Behold the Pale Horse with him. So
Interesting.
one day he just gave me one of his copies. Was like, here, you need to take this home and read it. And he's like, please tell me you'll read it. I was like, I will get to it. Don't worry, I will get to it.
So
You
I
know?
feel that we need to backtrack a little bit here. Before we did the show, you detailed a story, firsthand, a story of your experience near the World Trade Center.
Yes,
Tell
yes.
tell the listeners about that.
So during 9/11, I was about 20, 21 years old. Um, 9/11 Ground Zero. It's downtown Manhattan. For everybody that knows, that's considered the City Hall area. That's Wall Street is right there. Um, I used to actually I was working with a stock market firm at the time. Doing I was a stock market trainee, trying to do broker trainees, and it was just like the movie Wolf on Wall Street. One day, I went into my office, and I had to collect 3 weeks of a paycheck. It was me and a few of my employees. We walked in the building, and we looked around, and we were like, "Where's the office?" And we were like, "Wait a minute. I think we were just, we were confused. We walked into the wrong building. We walked out the building, then we re-entered the building. We were like, no, this is the same exact building. Where's the office? We went. There was just a guy, janitizing, vacuuming and cleaning up the whole area. And we are like, wait a minute, this is the office, but where's all the cubicles? Where's everything? It was completely wiped out. It was done. So I was a person that stood in the World Trade Center area very seldomly. Right across the street from the Twin Towers, there was a Century 21, which at the time was one of my favorite department stores. So I used to do a lot of shopping. It was directly across from the World Trade Center. So when I was younger, my mom, she used to always take us, on trips to the World Trade. We would go to the top of the Twin Tower. We would look out the periscopes. 'Cause they have periscopes on the top of the Twin Tower. So I remember, always putting, you know, 10 cents. I believe it was 10 cents at the time to use a periscope, putting the, get it, asking my mom for a dime, and getting as many dimes as I can just to, keep, turning the periscope on just to look at the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
You could see the Twin Towers. You could see the whole Hudson River. You can see from downtown Manhattan all the way to 34th Street, Empire State Building. It was just beautiful. It was just an amazing sight. If you was a person who ever experienced going into the Twin Towers, and you knew the dynamic of the structure. See, I got into carpentry years down the line. One of my friends was a white Italian. You know, I grew up in a very one half of my neighborhood was black and Spanish.
Right.
It was Puerto Rican and black, and then the other half of my neighborhood was Italian. So one of my friends, his dad owned a major construction company and would just build, a lot of high-rise units and a lot of skyscrapers from the ground up. So he taught us he grabbed us from when we were like, 15 on, just let us work, little, side work with him here or
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So I got into the carpentry field that way. And I knew from just being on these job sites and knowing how a building is being built from the foundation to the beginning structures of the I beams that go into the building. Because in New York City, a lot of places like the D.C. Washington area, Maryland and Virginia. This is called the DMV area. D meaning D.C., M meaning Maryland, V meaning Virginia. That's what the area I live in is considered because it's all bordered together. It's all I can go 15 minutes here, I'm in DC, 10 minutes here, I'm in Virginia, 10 minutes here, I'm in Maryland. So the housing over here, the units, unless if it's city exactly into the district, in the city area of the district, those areas are more, the commercial buildings are more I beams, So a lot of the regular residential housing are wood beams. So the joists are made of wood. So the I beams are the metal structure, the metal framing for the building. So in New York City, a lot of the buildings are metal structures, metal I beams, just in case any cataclysmic, apocalyptic events. These buildings will still remain standing, no matter the scenario. The Alpha Omega, the Doomsday. The Empire State Building, the Twin Towers will still remain standing.
Right.
And I've been in there so much that I knew you could see the skeletal of the structure from the outside to the inside and how thick these I beams were. And this structure of this building was just, it would have you in awe if you were like in the architectural field, or you were in the building trade field, and the carpentry field, and you were just a person that was a builder at a time.
You were
You
really into the World Trade Center. I could feel that you were very, very emotional and broken up that day.
Emotional wasn't the word. I had a friend. This is how devastating it was to me, right? I had a friend. Their mom worked in the World Trade Center. She worked in one of the floors. She worked, I believe, between the ninth floor and the 27th floor, right? Now, the World Trade Center was basically all elevator access. There, between the ninth floor and the 27th floor, well, you can take the stairs. There was an emergency stair access, but one time when I was young, me and my friends, we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna climb the whole stairs." It took us about 45 minutes to get to the top.
Wow.
You know,
It's a long
yeah,
time.
yeah, and it was a lot of stairs, and we were tired, our legs were hurting, but we were like, "No, we were gonna do it." We That was we did the Statue of Liberty. You know, we did the Empire State Building. You know, all these tall megalith buildings and structures. We were like, you know, we're gonna stare it up one day. You know, and we've done it. So in the Twin Towers, between I believe it's the 10th floor to the 26th floor, or it might be the ninth through the 27th. Like if you took the stairs up from the first floor, once it would hit the ninth floor, um, or it would hit the eighth floor, it would bypass the ninth floor all the way to the 28th floor. So floors between 9 and 27 were elevator access. So during the first, so any building in general, if there's an emergency evacuation on a building, and if a building is rigged with a fire evacuation emergency system, what happens is, as soon as this system detects a fire evacuation emergency, the elevator shut down. What happens when the elevator system shuts down? They go from whatever level they are on completely to the ground level. So they come to a complete shutdown. They go from whatever level they de-elevate down to whatever level, whatever ground level it can go, and it comes to a shutdown. Same thing happened in the Twin Towers. As soon as the first emergency evacuation mechanism went off in their alarm system, the elevators went right to the first floor. Access between 9 and 27 was only through elevators. So there was no staircases built. So anyone who was working at that time during that emergency fire evacuation system shutdown between the 9th and the 27th floor were trapped. They were guinea pigs. These were the people that you were seeing on the news jumping out of the building from the Twin Towers.
Oh shit, really?
Those were the bodies that were flying. They thought that, you know what, if there was a God possibility, rather than them burning to death, their instinct was to jump. They had no stairwell access to leave out of this building. They were guinea pigs. They were trapped. This was a squirrel in a squirrel trap. This was a mouse in a mouse trap. You know, this was a inmate in a isolation, and you know, in the jail, locked down, nowhere to go, but out of a window. People were just, you know, not only people were jumping off of, you know, instinct, it was just because they couldn't take the burn. You know, they were closer to the window. The air felt more natural. You know, they didn't want to disintegrate.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
that's what stands out the most to me about that morning of that Super Tuesday, what I like to refer to as, you know, seeing those people out there jumping to their death sticks out.
sticks out. Sticks out is not is a good way to put out, but
It just stays in your mind. In other words, it's
but
embedded in my mind.
yeah, exactly. That's the more better
Description.
type
Yeah,
description of
I
a
hear
word.
you.
You know, the better enunciation, embedded, because yeah, it stuck out that day, but for people who are witnesses and stuff like that, that stuff is a memory that you can get rid of.
Of
You
course
know,
not, yeah. That's a tough one, man. That was brutal.
yeah. So we can go back into now where I stood that morning.
Right.
I was working on 37th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. This is literally, you can say, less than 2 miles, about, let's say, about a mile and a half from ground zero. 2 miles, if that. 2 miles, if that. So that morning, I went to one of my job sites. We were supposed to had been there 9 a.m. I normally show up between 8:30, 8:45. I'm getting off the A train at the time. Um, the A train was is one of my local trains. A train, C train. Would take you to 34th Street. Well, that's actually the stop I would get off. 34th Street. And pretty much down. It's near the Macy's. What they call that? Herald Square. So get off 34th Street, Herald Square. Take a nice little small walk down to 37th Street. Walk down a few avenues. Um, During that morning, on my way to the job site, stopped to get a coffee. The coffee truck wasn't there. I said, you know what? Before I run a little bit late, let me just, I've been late quite. I was late quite a bit that week. I was like, you know what? Let me just keep on walking, and let me get to the job site before I have any situations with the boss. You know, I get to the job site, no one is there. I'm like, you know what? Wow, this is strange. Normally it's like about 10 to 15 guys here already. I'm like, nobody's here. I'm like, wow. I felt good about myself. I said, wow, I'm super early. My boss can't tell me nothing today.
Yes,
I was like, I'm not getting in trouble today.
that's
There's gonna
funny.
be a lot of people in trouble, but it's not gonna be me. My job lives another day. So I was happy. I was feeling good. Um, so I start working. I start setting up my tools. I started a little of the job site. I believe I was putting down some wood flooring at the time. Um, so it's like going into like 30 to 40 minutes past time. 9:15 was my coffee break. So 9:15 comes, I'm like, no one is still here. Let me give it another 5 more minutes. I'm like, I don't want to lock up and somebody walks in and they don't have a way to get in. Because I had my boss would give a few of the workers a lock to get in, a key to get in, and you would open up for the other employees. I was like, you know what? Nobody's here, and just in case, let me just hang out a little bit more. No one came. I was like, I'm gonna go get my coffee. So I went to the Middle Eastern coffee stand down the street. Looks like a little hot dog stand, but they sell like donuts and coffee and bagels and stuff like that. Um, this guy was there every day for the past 3 months. I've been on a job site. So the coffee guy in the morning, which I normally, if I'm early enough to get a coffee from him, was the guy I stop at. He wasn't there. So then when I go down to the next coffee stand during my coffee break, my guy's not there. And I'm like, now this is strange. Two coffee guys not here today. I'm like, are the coffee trucks on a strike or something like that? I said, you know what? Let me get down to the next coffee stand. I'm like, you know what? I had three other backup coffee stands. No worries. So I'm heading over to the next one. I see this guy, very, very black. I was like, one of the blackest people I've ever saw in my life. I was like, this was either a really dirty homeless guy or this was a really, really black guy.
So in other words, you
Uh,
thought you saw a black guy and you thought he was doing like blackface.
like, yeah, it was like blackface black. I was like,
Right.
so, but I didn't think it was blackface. I thought it was either a dirty homeless guy, and
Yes.
and he was so black, like you know what I mean, that I didn't think a homeless guy would really be that black. So I thought
Right.
maybe he was just a dark African American. Uh, now, or I just thought maybe he was, not a dirty homeless guy. It was just a really, really dark African American, which I wasn't used to seeing
He's a
on my New York.
mechanic.
A mechanic, yeah,
Right.
because I work in New York City and I live in New York City, and I'm Puerto Rican. I come from the Spanish community.
Right.
You know, I grew up in the African American community, so I see black people all day every day, and this guy was beyond black, and I could just hear him saying in my head to this day, the world is ending, the world is ending, the world is ending, the world is ending. I'm like, this guy is nuts. I'm like, yeah, this guy's is just like a. So I figured, you know what, this guy was just a homeless guy, really dirty on drugs, hallucinating.
Just another day in New York, right?
Another day in New York, right?
Right. Right.
Then I see these two African American women I'm passing by the 1 and 2 train. So I'm going a little bit more down the avenues towards First Avenue to the next coffee stand that I would believe, is it would definitely be there because this guy doesn't miss a day of coffee selling. So these two African American women, they start exiting the train station, and I hear one say, um, she goes, she goes to the other one. Did you know helicopter just smashed into the twin tower this morning? And the other one goes, it was a twin tower and a 747. And she said, and the tower collapsed. And then the other one goes, she goes, yeah, she goes, I heard that. It just completely fell. And, you know, that is crazy. This is a terror attack. But they're saying it so calmly. Like, they're not in fear. And they're like, yeah, they said Saddam Hussein or bin Laden had something to do with this. And I'm like, do you hear what these women are saying? I'm like, I got a psychopath. Nobody showing up to work. There's no coffee trucks. I got a psychopath, screaming the world is ending. Two ladies are saying a helicopter or airplane hit the twin towers. I'm like, that, yeah, maybe something like that happened. I could believe that. But now one is saying that the building collapsed. I'm like, I'm laughing. I'm like, this morning is turning out to be a real joke.
Right.
So I get to the coffee stand, and there's like the coffee stand is gone. I said, you know what? I'm not chasing coffee stands around. I'm gonna go to the nearest, like it was a sort of like a breakfast a boutique where they have, they're a little bit more expensive, so we normally don't get coffee there.
Man, you really wanted that fucking coffee.
Yeah, I really want. Yeah, I was a coffee addict at the time.
God damn.
Yeah. This proves that how much of a drug it was. I was like, to me that was like that was my morning high.
Yeah, you were more concerned with the coffee
than anything. I needed that caffeine.
Holy shit.
I need this coffee.
Man.
I need it ASAP immediately.
Well now I can't hear the rest of the story unless I know for sure that you got that fucking cup of coffee.
So we go to the coffee boutique.
Yes.
Like, this is the more expensive coffee. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shell out the dollars. This has been a crazy morning. I was the only one on the job site working. The boss hasn't even showed up. I've done production. I deserve a cup of coffee. So I start headed to the coffee boutique. Now I see one of the managers shutting it down, closing down the gate. So I'm running up to him. I'm like, hey, bro. I'm like, what's up, man? Like, what are you shutting down for? There's no coffee stands nowhere. He's like, get out of the city. Get out of here. We're under attack. We're under a terror attack. He was like, the Al-Qaeda's bombing us right now. I'm like, what? He's like, get out, get out. All of a sudden, I get a text message from my, and this was the old Sprint phones. This wasn't even a smartphone at the time. Like when you had a text, you had to go through a 1, and the 1 said ABC, and you had to hit it 3 times to get a C.
Yeah, the old school days.
The super old school days. So I got the text message on the Sprint flip phone from my boss, and he's like, where are you? I need you to get out of there immediately. He's like, where are you? So I go back. It's like taking me like 15 minutes to type it to him. I'm on the job site. Where are you guys? And then he calls my phone. He's like, the phone's ringing, so I pick up because I was calling his phone and I was getting a busy signal the whole time. He was like, where are you? Where are you? I was like, I'm on the job site. Nobody's here. He's like, we're under attack. He was like, they're bombing us. Get out of there. They're bombing us. I was like, who's bombing? He's like, Al-Qaeda. I was like, oh, this is really serious. He's like, get out as soon as you can. So now I start coming into realization. I start, focusing on reality now. I'm zooming in my peripherals on everyone in the vicinity. I'm noticing people are black as hell. The sky is turning very black, and it's getting smoggy, and it's not because of a gloomy day and it's rainy season, because it was nice and sunny just a minute ago. And I'm seeing people running, and a lot of panicking, a lot of screaming. So now my nerves just shot to the ground. My instinct was start ducking and running. So now I'm thinking that an F-15, a jet fighter, is going to shoot a Patriot missile at me, and they're just going to, I'm just ducking, looking into the sky, trying to. Oh my God! I'm running to the train
So were
station.
you finally scared at this point?
I'm terrified. I'm in terror.
I could imagine.
So my fear was that this was a red alert. My red alert system was just bing bing bing. It was just just binging off. So now I start heading to my train station area. So I get to Midtown Manhattan. I'm running down. The train is closed. The subway system is shut down. They put a lock on the gates. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm like, oh, we're under attack. I'm like, I'm still looking in the sky. I'm seeing people run, panicking. The whole city is running. I mean, literally running. The traffic is bumper to bumper because people are running in the streets now. I'm like, I don't know what people are running from. I don't know where missiles are coming from. I didn't see any missiles. Now the black smog is really turning into smoke. So now I'm really going crazy. I finally get to the 102 train downtown Manhattan. They're working. I work my way to the A train, to my F train stop. Once I get to my stop, it's J Street, Borough Hall, down New York City, downtown Brooklyn. That's the A train. You can transfer over to the F train. So I take the F train, um, down into my area. My area. Well, as soon as you jump on the F train going more downtown Brooklyn towards Coney Island, the the fourth stop comes outside the tunnel and it comes above ground. Now, the first outside platform stop is my stop. That was Smith and Ninth Street train station, F train, downtown Brooklyn. The stop before that is Court Street. Court Street, downtown Brooklyn. That's the in-ground stop. That's the stop once you leave out of Court Street going into Smith and Ninth Street. It comes out of the tunnel and you're above ground. Now this train is facing the whole Hudson River. So you can see the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see as soon as you come above ground, you can see the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see the Hudson River. You can see the Statue of Liberty. You can see the whole South Street Seaport, and you can see which is the area of Ground Zero, and Ground Zero is exactly right behind the South Street Seaport, which the South Street Seaport is in front of Wall Street. Wall Street is in front of Ground Zero, and then right there, from this whole on periphery from Court Street train station to Smith and Ninth Street, that whole view of the Hudson was the exact view that anybody would need to see if they wanted to see what was going on with the Twin Tower at that time. The only thing I saw was a fireball. Just the size of the Twin Tower, that high, as tall as the Twin Tower was, I saw a big flame of fire. One big fireball. People started tearing. People were crying. Tears were coming down their eyes. This was it was a catastrophic, just the most saddest situation a person could experience in history.
Sure.
And when I saw this, just my heart dropped. People started tearing. People started clutching the train poles harder. People that were couples started just clutching each other. It was just one of the worst situations I've ever experienced in my life. As soon as the train came to the station, I shot down the stairs. This was above platform train station. You have to go down a few flights of stairs, then an escalator, then another few flights of stairs to get to the outside of the platform. As soon as I get to the outside of the platform, like I said, my area of Brooklyn is on the opposite side of the World Trade Center. It's literally my side of Brooklyn is where the Brooklyn Bridge starts, and once you cross over to the other side, that's Ground Zero. So we were exactly the opposite end of the Brooklyn Bridge. So once I got out of my stop, out of my station, the whole neighborhood was covered in ash. 1 foot of ash. Oh, I would say approximately about 8 to 10 inches of ash. close to a foot. I would say not exactly a foot of ash, but about 8 to 10 inches of ash on top of everything. On top of at that time there were payphones. So the payphones had about 8 to 10 inches of ash covering them. Every car in the vicinity, from the hood of the front bumper of the car going up to the hood of the car, to the windshield, to the top roof of the car, to the back windshield, down to the back trunk and to the bumper, covered in 8 to 10 inches of ash. Mailboxes covered in 8 to 10 inches of ash. The you know the a lot of the neighborhoods, there's a lot of like brownstone buildings. They have terraces, fire escapes on the front, the porches that lead up into the building. You know, all of this covered into 8 to 10 inches of ash. This was one of the most um I don't know how to put the word, but the way to visualize it was one of the worst. It was more than terrible.
I bet.
More than terrible. Just the visuals and what I was saying, all everything that I was experiencing. It was just way out of the ordinary, and it was inhumane. It was just the most terrifying, terrible situation I've ever experienced in my life. And it's something that if I do think about it, I
You
relive those
relive it.
thoughts in my memory.
And you're not
Yeah,
from New
I
York, by the way, right? You weren't like,
no,
yeah, you're not, you were never born in New York, nothing like that. Not even close, right?
no, well,
Because the
yeah,
reason why I'm asking is because every time I have this conversation with someone that's like, let's say, from New York, they still have a very hard time believing that the government might or might not have had any sort of doing with the World Trade Center.
yeah, well, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I was raised in New York City, so my whole life until I was about 20 24 and a half was spent in New York City. So I am from New York City, and yeah, well, you're definitely you have people running around in New York City wearing masks in their home, thinking that they're gonna catch COVID in their house, you know, and thinking that, oh, if they do have COVID, that they don't want to pass it on to their children, so they're gonna wear a mask around their child, their children, meaning that, as they had said in the beginning, and this was from the the Attorney General for the United States. He said that COVID was asymptomatic in the beginning, meaning that yes, if I was to breathe on you, you would catch it. If you were to touch something, you would catch it. It was about 2 months ago. He came out with Trump, and they did. You know, they you know how Trump comes out every day and does his lectures and his little lessons, and he's always on YouTube,
The
just you
briefings,
know,
right, right.
yeah, his little briefings every day. They came out and did a briefing where the Attorney General went back and said that he apologizes to the world. He didn't have that much knowledge on COVID when it first came out, that it is not asymptomatic, meaning that if I did breathe on you, you would not be able to get it. It's not through airborne transmission. So I catch a lot of these briefings, and if you do not catch them, you will miss a lot of the stuff that is said, that is not posted on our natural media, Fox 5 News, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. There's so many things that they say in these briefings that these news companies, these news agencies will not broadcast on their televised platforms, just to keep everybody, you know, on a loophole. Everybody confused. They the COVID is a big confusion, and it is something that, well, we'll get deep into that. We'll get deep into that, but that was basic. my introduction and
Yeah, we're already about an
my
hour in. We could jump right into COVID now that we've had that sort of a description, that brief description about 9/11 there. We got into it for a while, and I appreciate that. Pretty wild stuff that you had to relive this sort of experience every time you talk about it.
now let me there's one thing that I because I have so much detail
For
on
sure.
9/11 where I know that I would just like to just brief really quick
Yeah, go ahead. Go
for
ahead. It's fine.
because it was just something that you said that a lot of people in New York City that they believe um they believe that the government didn't have nothing to do with it, that it wasn't a terror
Yeah, they
attack, right?
believe the official narrative.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm gonna there's a little excerpt that I have on my channel. I believe this is one of my excerpts that I just recently that I put on 9/11 for my Instagram. There's a guy named Steve Jackson, right? In 1990, um, Steve Jackson, well, he was considered a role-playing inventor, right? He created a game called the Illuminati New World Order, for short. For short, it was the game is called INWO. This game is it's basically cards. They're called the Illuminati cards, right? So,
Right. I've seen
right,
those.
yes, this was Steven Jackson. He was the creator of these Illuminati cards. In 1990, he created these cards, right? So these cards have information that relate to our time and beyond our time. Stuff that has to do with Secret Service agents and the secret societies, and there are a lot of prophesized predictions, pretty much. So his cards, well, and let me see, yeah, and March 1st of 1990, Secret Service, they went to his home. They seized all of his properties. He was accused of hacking the government, and which was completely false. Um, you know, there was no narratives for him to be hacking the government. And in court, he filed a lawsuit. He was awarded $50,000 for one of the lawsuits, and $250,000 in the second lawsuit, and attorney fees as well. And the cards, you know, everything from troubles from that the world create, this from the Illuminati's complete new world order, the Agenda 21, the panics, the wars, you know, the stuff that this 1% elite government hides from us. So, one of his Illuminati cards, it shows it says it shows two buildings, the twin towers, right? And it says 1995 on the card, right? The year 1995. And this is what his Illuminati card says, right? And it shows the twin towers. Actually, you know Um, what is the link to your email, Michael? Is it at the Michael Deacon program?
No, it's michaelendofdays@gmail.com.
Michael End of Days. I'm gonna send you this picture right now so you can pull it up for the people to see. I would definitely love for the people to see this.
Sure.
So it's Michael End of Days
At gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
Yeah, and yeah, go ahead and send that there, and I'll throw that up there for everyone in the chat.
I just sent it to you right now. So now you should 2 seconds. You should be getting it. And if you could, if you're able to pull it up on your screen as well, if you're able to screen share that picture, that would be great. But like I said, but once again, Steve Jackson, he created these cards in 1990, right? So this card, when you look at the picture, there's pictures that, and you're gonna see it on the screen the excerpt that I sent you with the screen share, it's gonna show a picture of 9/11, which was one of the most um, um, prominent pictures of 9/11 at that time, and the picture of his Illuminati card that says 1995.
And
It
now I
shows
have it up, by the way.
okay, and you see the picture. It shows his depiction in 1995 of the Twin Tower and the explosion is the same exact prominent picture that was exposed of 9/11 at 9/11 during 2001. So this was an Illuminati card that was in his deck in 1990. So for this to be a coincidence, an exact coincidence, is up to the people to decide. You know, it's what you want to believe. You know, is this guy a prophet? Is it did this guy was he a Nostradamus? Did he prophesize about this? And did he prophesize about these cards? Or did the Secret Service actually really did lock him up and arrest him and seize all of his things because he really did hack into their Agenda 21? And he had a picture of the picture is called Place Number 6. It's a picture of the Pentagon on fire during an explosion. And there's so many depictions of 9/11 that I have at that time from like movies and comic books that I will be putting up on my Instagram these next coming days. And they're you know
Are
they're
they
just a
coming
lot
for
of
you out there?
they're just a lot of different. Yeah, actually I got my window open and you know
They're gonna
they're
get
coming
you.
for me. Yeah, they're coming for me. They're coming for me.
Better be careful out there.
Yeah. But the one thing I tell people,
Whoa.
have you ever heard of Rabbi Finkelstein?
I have not heard of the rabbi, no. Can't say I have.
Rabbi Finkelstein. You should play one of his like he has a famous he's a rabbi out of New York City. He's one of the most outspoken rabbis probably of our time today, right? He'll tell you about the Zionistic regime and what their plans are and so forth and so on. And he'll tell you that like they're not really worried about us.
Who's they?
They they are the thems.
Who
They
are
are
them? Yes.
they are the those guys.
Yes. Who are
The
these guys? Identify them.
These guys are the ones that everybody always talks about and never brings into fruition. They never actually discuss who these people are. They always refer to them as the theys, like I just did, the thems, and the those, and those guys. These people are the 1% elites that control our government. These people are the ones who make all the implementations of what is going to go on in our world, in our society. These are the ones who have implemented the coronavirus into our society and will be, which coronavirus is pandemic one. And they will be relinquishing COVID-19, which is pandemic two. And I will get into the two differences in the viruses because coronavirus and COVID-19 are two different things. Everybody thinks that they're one complete exact virus, which is completely inaccurate. But getting back into the days, the those, and the who these people are, there's a 1% elite that controls our government. They're the ones who run the Illuminati. Let me take it a step further. When people, a lot of people refer to these people, they refer to their actions and not exactly who they are because they really don't know who they are. And they refer to what their implementations are, but they don't exactly know the implementations and what's really being, put onto our society. and these negative well um these negative things that are gonna come, you know, into fruition in our near future and have come into fruition. Because at one time we were all conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theories been going on since, you know, past 50, 60 years. Everybody's been talking conspiracies. Nowadays, most of these conspiracies have came into fruition and are in the verges of coming into fruition. So now there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory. Everybody's considered a critical thinker, such as David Icke. David Icke is a he was considered one of the most, you know, prominent conspiracy theorists at his time and of this time. And right now, people cannot wait for him to, you know, do an excerpt on YouTube, a little video or something where he's doing a little talking so they could run and hear what he got to say. Because a lot of the things that he did speak about have come into fruition and are in the processes. And, you know, people are just so on edge right now. And or right now, there's no more such thing as a conspiracy theorist. They're just straight critical thinkers. And right now, they're the thinkers that people are depending on. And these are the people such as myself that have always you know, talked about the days and the those, the 1% elites, you know, and to bring enlightenment on this 1% elite. We're going to go into the societies. When people talk about the societies, they talk about Freemasons. They talk about Illuminatis, and they're like, the Freemasons this, the Freemasons that. They're going to kill us. They run the world. The Illuminati's this, the Illuminati that. And that's as far as they get. You know, and then they start talking about the skull and bones. Then they talk about the boulets. And, you know, they talk about the inner organizations within the Freemasons and the Illuminati. And then they say these are the guys running the government. And these are the guys we have to look out for, and so forth and so on. And one thing I have to say about all of those things is that when they say that these are the people that are implementing a lot of the stuff into our laws and our bylaws, and these are the government officials, you know, that are, you know, indoctrinating these negative, you know, actions into our lives and our world and our ways of living and thinking and so forth and so on. Yeah, they're right for that. But when they say that it's the Boulets and the Skull and Bones and the Illuminati, they're wrong for that, right? What people don't know, the Freemasons and the Illuminatis are not where the societies stop at. Those are the two lower end um, organizations of the societies. There are 5 major societies. These 5 major societies are, we'll start with the low end of the societies. The Freemasons, the ones who have a bit more subjective power above the Freemasons, are the Illuminati. The ones who are above the Illuminati and implement to the Illuminati what they need to implement is the Bavarian Illuminati. When you want to go a little bit deeper beyond the Bavarian Illuminati and who gives them the implements, it goes into the Rosicrucians. That's the third highest ranking society. When you want to go into the second highest ranking society above the Rosicrucians, you're talking about the Thule Society, Thule, aka the Hyperboreans or the Hyperborean Society. When you want to go into the number one major society, the ruling society that governs our inner earth to our outer earth, they rule our world from the inside out. This society is called the Vril Society. VRIL, the Vril Society. These are the ones who are our ruling government. These are the ones who control every society in the world. They're called the real society because of what they stand for. They don't stand for robbing us and stealing from us and taking money from us and trying to be rich off of money. Money is nothing but a monetized fiat papered currency. It's a piece of paper. Once they take the monetization out this fiated piece of paper, it's just a blank piece of paper. It's nothing. It's nothingness. They don't care about nothingness. They can't do anything with nothingness. What they can do things with is with power. Power is what supersedes anything on this God given planet. With power, you can manipulate anything, you can infiltrate anything, you can become the major source of everything. This is the God of the world. You want to have that godly power on this earth, on this world, in this universe, in our solar system. You have to have power. And this is what the society is based off of: power. What type of power? Power of the human race, power of law, power of government. Those things are partial of of their necessities, but this is not what they're seeking. The power they seek is called vril energy. VRIL energy. The Chinese, they call it chi. Um, I'm not too sure what the Hindus call it, and our American term for it is called ethereal energy. This is what they seek. This is energy of matter. This is not only energy of matter, this is high energy, a combination of light matter with a higher combination of dark matter. Light matter is what we get from the sun, is what was given to us from our creator, our most high. This is light energy. This is alkaline energy. This is electromagnetic energy. This is considered energy from heaven, the light of heaven. This is heavenly energy. Dark matter is vril energy. Vril energy is energy harvest from the core of the earth. The Germans worship this. The Hindus worship this. The Jews worship this. Where we think the Nazi symbol is a disgrace. If you display a Nazi symbol, you're called an anti-Semist. You're called a Jew hater. You know, you're called a Nazi. If you have no bad negativity towards this Nazi swastika, if it doesn't do anything wrong to you, you're considered one of the most satanic people of the world. Now let me explain something to you. The swastika is not a satanic symbol. It's not a satanic. Well, it is a satanic symbol. I'll get into that. But the meaning of us thinking that it's a satanic symbol to the Jews, to the Hindus, to the Chinese, to the Celtics, to the Buddhists, to the monks, of Tibet. These people worship the swastika. The swastika it's known as the spinning cross. It's basically a cross, but let's say you took a cross and you put a thumbtack on it and you put it on a board, and now it can spin. When you see a cross spinning, you see the flared edges of the edges of the cross. So that's the Z formation of the swastika. It's the spinning edges of the outer perimeters of the cross. So it makes it look like double Z's, like one Z crossing the next Z. That's the spinning formation of this cross symbol. This cross symbol, it's a black cross. It's worn by the Queen. It's worn by the Nazis. It was worn by the whole Hitler regime. The Jews worship the swastika. The swastika to them means um um black sun, energetic sun, God's sun. They worship the Star of David. The Star of David is represented by the swastika, along with the pentagram. They call the pentagram the Star of David. It's still the pentagram. It's represented by the black sun, the black cross. You look at the Queen Elizabeth. You look at the royal family. You look at the Rothschilds. You look at all of these German regimes. They all. You look at the Pope. You look at the Vatican. You look at his Catholic cathedrals. You look at the churches and the Catholic churches. Their garb all has this black cross on it. The black cross means black sun. The black sun is considered the Earth's core. The black sun is what they say is what regenerates dark matter, dark energy. The real society lives within these realms of this Earth's core. They have the ability to live this close to the Earth's core. They are able to harness this energy. This is satanic energy. This is Luciferian energy. This society were the ones who forecasted Hitler to the German army. They held a, what do you call that? Incantation for prediction of who would run this Nazi regime. The Nazi regime, the Nazi army, was an army that was based off of the real society. This was something that they've brought into fruition. They created this regime, this army. The day Hitler was born, they ran an incantation that told them this was their next leader, their next ruler. They went to the family of Hitler, the mother of Hitler, the father of Hitler, which are Rothschilds. And we'll get into that in a little bit too. Hitler was a Rothschild, for the people who don't know. For people who don't know who the Rothschilds are, but I'm quite sure anybody who watches this channel knows who the Rothschilds are to a T. But to people like you said who are new to the channel, the Rothschilds are the world's bankers. They're the Queen's bankers. They're of this royal bloodline. Now we'll still get into that, but we're just digging a little deeper, into the mix of everything. This real society, the day Hitler was born, predicted him as their next ruling subjector, to give him a ranking to be the implementer. They indoctrinated him to his parents, the day of his birth. Since Hitler was a kid, he was taught by the Vril society. He was taught the ways of the Vril. He was taught how to harness Vril energy.
You're starting to lose the listeners, by the way.
If you are getting lost,
You're starting to lose them, yeah.
if you are getting lost, we're talking about the most major secret society in history. The one who controls the Illuminati, the one who controls the Freemason, the Vril society. They're the ones who raised Hitler as a child. They're the ones who started the Nazi regime. They're actually called the Aryans or the Arianas. This is why the Nazi regime is considered the Aryan nation. Their first society, all right, the Vril society are their major society. Their children are the Thiel society. The Thiel society, they're considered the Hyperboreans. If you look into the Hyperboreans, so for people who are lost, let me explain something to you. If you go to my YouTube channel, Alkaline City, I've done a documentary on this. The documentary is called The Reptilians and the Council of 13. These people were the first implementers of the Council of 13. All of this is spoken about in my documentary. So, but we're just stuck on the Vril society because I want people to concentrate on Vril society. People want to know who's giving them COVID-19, who's giving them coronavirus. There's this society. They're the number one society in the world. They run the Bavarian Illuminati. The Bavarian Illuminati runs the American Illuminati. They run the Freemasons. They're above the Rosicrucians. They're the ones who tell the Thiel Society, the Hyperboreans, what to do. The Hyperboreans are their kids, their grandchildren. They're the descendants of the Vril Society, aka the Nephilim. The Nephilim are also known as the Men in Black. In our government, they're known as the Men in Black. Everybody has heard of the Men in Black, the secret organization that hides all the secret implementations that the government kind of outcast into the world accidentally. So if somebody does something accidentally and leaks some information, the Men in Black are the ones to clean it up. The Men in Black, their society is called the Thiel Society, the Thule. They're also considered Hyperboreans. They're also called in the Bible the Nephilim. These are beings that are 12 foot and above beings. They stand between 12 foot and 14 feet. These are beings. I'm not saying that they're human beings. I'm not saying they're aliens. Because I don't believe in aliens, but one thing I do believe in is interdimensional beings. One thing is I believe in the Bible. Okay? So which mostly half of this earth believes in their sort of Bible, and they believe in their creator and their God. The Jews, they believe they worship David. The Muslims worship Allah. Christians worship Jehovah. The Catholics worship the Jehovah God. So I believe in the Bible and I believe in God, right? And if you believe in the Bible, you have to believe in the Nephilim. If you believe in God, if you believe in the Creator, if you believe in God, you have to believe in the Nephilim. If you believe in the Creator, you have to believe in the fallen angels. You have
What
to
if you
believe in
don't believe in
Satan.
any of it? What about those folks out there?
Then they cannot say they believe in a God.
They're disqualified from the race.
They're disqualified because
okay.
the term God comes from the Bible. The term God comes from the Bible. Nephilim comes from the Bible. Okay? The watchers, the fallen angels, come from the Bible. Satan, Lucifer, the devil, comes from the Bible. You cannot say that there's a devil, there's a Lucifer, there's a Satan, if you do not believe in the Bible. You cannot say, if you do not believe in spirits, interdimensional beings, you do not believe in the Bible. Because all of this stuff, the word spirit, interdimensional beings, these are subjected to the Bible. This comes from the Bible. So if you disregard any of this stuff and disqualify it, you're disqualified from someone who believes in a most high. Because the word, the most high, comes from the Bible. Lord comes from the Bible. Anything that explains a creator, the word creator, comes from the Bible. Listen to what I'm telling you. If you do not believe in these words, you do not believe in the Bible. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't believe in that. I don't believe." So then you do not believe in the Bible. You don't believe in anything. That means you're a nothingless, thoughted person. You have thoughts of nothing because everything that you believe in comes from the Bible. So you have to believe in this. And all of this stuff that I'm talking about, the real society, the Theo society, the Hyperboreans, the Nephilims,
Yes, you believe all of them are responsible for all of the world's tragedies, correct?
the Men in Black. If you look up the Theo society and you do research on them, you will see that they're part of our government. Our not American government, they're part of our world government. If you look up Vril Society, you will see they're the indoctrinators. They're the leaders of every secret society. They're the rulers. They're the Arianas. They're also considered the watchers, the fallen angels. They were the ones that were casted out of heaven down onto the earth. They're the ones that the Bible speaks about that made it with the humans and had the baby. The When they made it with the humans, their children were giants. Their children were the Nephilims. The Vril Society are fallen angels. This is why you cannot hear from them. This is why you cannot see them. They're interdimensional beings. The Bible, if you do not believe in this, you do not believe in the Bible. The Bible says that they were casted out of heaven along with Satan, Lucifer, onto our earth. It says they made it with humans and they had 10 to 12-foot children. They were called the Nephilims. This is all in Sumerian text. If you do not believe in this, once again, you do not believe in the Bible. So when it speaks about the descendants of the Sumerians, then we get into our human race. We get into our people of our time. We are considered A negative, A positive, B positive, B negative, O positive. These are our blood types. This Aryan nation blood type from their descendants, because the Aryan nations were fallen angels. They have heavenly blood. Their blood was of God. So they had superhuman blood. When they had children and they made it with the humans, they had the Nephilim. These 10-foot, 12-foot humans, which are called the Theo Society, because if you look up the Theo Society and do your research on it, they will come up. They're the second highest, most ranking secret society. They're called Hyperboreans, and it will tell you. What does Hyperborea means? Hyperborea means beyond the poles. Beyond the poles. Because if you were to go to the North Pole today, there's a certain area of the poles you can go to. You can get up to the poles, and that's where you're met by a secret military organization, a secret military unit, and they will stop you. And they will tell you to turn around, or you will be locked up and you will go to jail. Or they might shoot you on the spot, you know, sort of like Area 51. They do not allow you to go beyond the poles. This Theo society, if you do the research, Theo means Hyperborea, Hyperborean. Hyperborean because, once again, Hyperborea is an area that is beyond the North Pole. It's the area that is segregated from the average man. Like I said, you go to the North Poles, you cannot go beyond the poles. You cannot go to Hyperborea.
Do you
We
believe the Earth is flat?
now, I believe the Earth is flat, but I believe I know how it is flat. I believe in what they call the hollow Earth.
Amazing.
Now, there's one person that I will, Mr. Deacon, I'm gonna set you up with. He's one of my brothers. He runs a show called the Bro Sanchez TV. He has the Bro Sanchez podcast, and he also has a channel called Flat Power TV. He's one of the most prolific flat power speakers on YouTube today for the conscious community.
So he's a flat earther.
Super flat earther. He's one of the most prolific voices for flat earth on the YouTube community. He's one of my brothers. We speak on a regular basis. I have his personal info. He has mine. We've done shows together. We combat with each other at times, because he's really into ancient cosmology.
Oh my.
So he will teach you on ancient cosmology, and he will break it down to you. And if you want to get into flat earth, he will explain to you the flat earth. But he knows my takes on it, and he knows how I go into hollow earth. Because hollow earth, do I believe it's some people call it Argatha. So the monks in Tibet, they consider it Shambhala. Do I believe it's a earth that we can go and live ourselves? No, I know that for a fact it's not. This is why the Arianas, the fallen angels, the watchers that were casted down from Satan, that made it with the humans and created the Nephilims, the men in black, the Theo Society, the Hyperboreans. This is why they've migrated down into the inner earth. They're in touch with the people of Tibet, the monks. That's why if you would go into their temple in Tibet, they have a gated area that where it has these big doors that's supposedly the entryway to Shambhala. They do not allow anyone entry into those doors and to explore, into those regions of the earth. They completely have it shut it out. Now, it says they have opened those doors to certain societies. These are the real societies. These are the only ones that can live in the inner earth, in the Argatha, in the Shambhala. Because this is the climate is very hot down there. It's extremely hot. We would suffocate, we would, probably deteriorate, getting close to the earth's core. They absorb energy and they get life. They get satanic life. They get ethereal energy. This is their real energy. This is what they harness. This is what keeps them alive. This is what makes them so powerful. This is why you can never defeat this 1% elite. Because these are angels that fell from heaven. People don't believe that they're still alive. Do you think that at the time that they were casted out of heaven and they came to the earth and they had kids, that they automatically disintegrated from our planet? But the average human being, who is a powerless human, we're not a superhuman being. We're a regular human being. We were born with superhuman powers and superhuman abilities, but we were deprived the ways to harness our full potential. Our ethereal energy, our virile energy, our heavenly energy. We were compromised and through our neurons, through our biological systems, compromised um, biologically for us to not be able to harness our superhuman abilities. And this was indoctrinated as their implementations by the Vril Society. Their leader is Lucifer, Satan. When they were casted out of heaven, they were in war with our God, our Most High, with their brothers and sisters, their fellow brother angels and fellow sisters. They've sided with Lucifer, with Satan, with this demonic entity, and they went to war with our Most High, our Lord, our Savior, our God. They went to war with our Messiah. They warred with them in heaven. Because of this war, they were casted out of heaven. When they were casted down onto this planet, they did not just disappear. And the human race, during the same amount of time, are still here to this day. No, they did not vanish. They did not diminish. They migrated. They've migrated into areas where they privatized. They've migrated into the Shambhala, the Agartha. That's the Arianas. That's the Vril Society. The Theo Society, their sons, their grandchildren, their descendants. These Nephilims, these Hyperboreans, they don't have the complete energy to live in the inner earth as well. So they migrated to Hyperborea. They migrated beyond the poles. They say if you go beyond the poles, the weather is beautiful. It's almost like the climate of Hawaii or in the Caribbeans, where it's like sort of springish summertime weather. They say it's not like if you go beyond the poles, it's not like Antarctica with these below freezing temperatures. They say once you go past the poles, beyond the poles into Hyperborea, the climate of the region is perfect. This is where they can where the abundance of natural fruits and vegetables um, grows abundantly because of the soil.
By the way, we have a question for you if you want to answer this one from the
Yes, I
chat.
can. No
Dr.
worries.
Strangelove is asking, can you ask him if this Nephilim send Columbus to the Americas?
The Nephilims did. The Nephilims. Christopher Columbus was satanic. He was ran by the Queen,
Amazing.
by Queen Elizabeth. The Queen is part of the Council of 13. Let me go through the Council of 13 to everybody. The Council of 13 are all right. The Nephilims had children. Their children are the Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucians they're considered the Council of 13. They're the descendants of the royal bloodline, meaning that their royal bloodline is the blood of the fallen angels. They have superhuman blood. The bloodline descended from the fallen angels, the Arianas, the Vril Society, to the Theo Society. From the Theo Society, their bloodlines descended into the Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucians they're not 10 to 12 feet tall. They're average human size. They still have superhuman ability. They're not aliens. They're interdimensional beings. They're the ones that are considered the reptilians, the shapeshifters of the earth. The ones that are, you know, the ones that are controlling everything that the president says and that Congress does. These are the Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucians are called the Council of 13. They're basically humans that have this royal bloodline, this angel bloodline that was descended down from their great grandfathers, their ancestors of the Vril Society, to their fathers and mothers of the Phil Society, the Nephilims, and to the Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucians they're called the Council of 13. The Council of 13 are when they're in full human form, average human, you know, 5'8" to 6'5", 6'4", whatever their sizes are. They range in size, but they're in natural human size. They're the 1% elite that control our government. They're called the Council of 13. They're the Rosicrucian Society because they're the first descendant to the human of this royal bloodline. Why is it called the royal bloodline? Once again, we're A positive, B positive, A negative, O positive. This royal bloodline is considered RH negative. They're a RH negative blood. That's their blood genome structure. It's called RH negative. This is the royal bloodline. Let me go into the royal bloodline families. Let's start with the first family. It's called the Astor. The second family are the Bundys. The third family, this is the count. These are the Rosicrucians. These are the Council of 13. The Astor, 1, 2, the Bundys, 3, the Collins, 4, the DuPonts, 5, the Freeman, 6, the Kennedys, 7, the Lee, L-I, the Lee, 8, the Onassis, 9, the Rockefeller, 10, the Rothschilds, 11, the Russell, 12, the Van Duyn, and 13, the Merovingian, Merovingian, or Merovingian. If I'm mispronouncing it, enunciating it improperly, Merovingian or Merovingian. That's the 13th bloodline. These are all the 13 bloodlines. This is the Council of 13. This is the 1% elites. Now, this 1% elites, they do have children. Their children are considered the Committee of 300. The Committee of 300 are what make up the next society underneath them, which is the Bavarian Illuminati, which also crosses over into the American Illuminati and the Freemasons. Now, this Council of 13 are broken down into organizations. These 13 bloodlines are broken down into organizations. This organization is considered the Round Table. The Round Table are a few different organizations, as of the Trilateral Commission is one of the organizations, the Bilderberg Group, the Council of Foreign Relations, the Club of Rome. These societies, organizations are what make up the Round Table. Now, this council had children. They've had children. Their children have had grandchildren, which still have this Rh negative bloodline. Their children make up the Bavarian Illuminati to our American Freemasons, to our American Illuminati. Their committee is called the Committee of 300. This Committee of 300 are the conglomerates that make up all the conglomerated organizations that are implemented into the evil doings of our earth, such as the DuPonts, the Teslas, the McDonald's Corporation, the Pepsi Corporation, the Wendy's Corporation, the 3M Corporation. These are the conglomerate corporations of the Committee of 300. This is where all the evil doings come into play. They make decisions on what we should eat. They make decisions on what we should breathe. They make decisions on what we should wear, on what we should look, on how we should think. They own institutions. Every institution in the world they own. Institutions meaning the public library, the courts, the the um the the police committees, the banks, the libraries, the churches, the um the airports, the train stations, any metro facility, anything the hospitals, the schools, anything that's an institution, they run, they organize. So they are the voters. They are the ones who cast the votes. Where we think we have rights and we can cast a vote and our vote counts. That's just one of their implementations. That implementation is it's a confusion act. Is a act for them to confuse the human population. Is an act for them to make us think we have authority in society, to make us think that we have judgment, that we have power. So when we vote, we feel like that we're really going to make a change. We feel like we have DFS Donovan says, was Kobe's death accidental? No, it wasn't. It was part of this implementation. It was part of the Agenda 21, and I will get into the Agenda 21. But we're talking about this society and what they do.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty quickly here. Not the show with this topic though. We are sort of dragging behind. We got to move this forward here.
Okay, so we'll cut this topic short.
Yeah, we got to cut here.
Before we cut this topic short, if you look at the ruler of the Illuminati, the name of the ruler of the Illuminati is called the Pindar. If you look up the definition of Pindar, Pindar means lizard king. Now, once again, people say, well, how does this tie into Hitler? How was he a Rothschild? Well, I ran through the 13 bloodlines, the Council of 13, the Rh negative bloodlines, and the Rothschilds were one of the bloodlines. Let's go into Hitler's father. Hitler's father, his name is Alois Hitler. Alois Hitler. Alois Hitler was the son of Lionel Nathan Rothschild. So Hitler's grandfather's name was Lionel Nathan Rothschild. Lionel Nathan Rothschild's son was Alois Hitler. Alois Hitler is the father of Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler is the grandson of Lionel Nathan Rothschild. Okay? And that's Hitler's ties into the Rh negative bloodline, this royal bloodline. This is what they care about. They don't care about the average human. These people, they have incest with each other just so that they can maintain this purity in their blood, so that they can maintain this DNA structure, this code, this Rh negative code. they feel anytime their Rh negative blood it's cross genetic with another DNA, they call that tainted blood. They'll do anything to relinquish their bloodline. This one they're called 1%. 1% meaning there's 8.6 billion people on this earth. There's only between 400 to about 600 million of them. So out of 8 billion people on this earth, 8.6 billion, 8 billion are non-Rh negative, are the actual human race, our race. The other 600 million, that 1% elite, are of the Rh negative bloodline. They're the rulers of this earth. And now we can move over into our next topic. Do you mind if we go into the Agenda 21?
Yeah, we have to move along here, but yes, let's talk about Agenda 21 for a few minutes here. That would be fantastic. And that's the end game, correct?
The end game, correct. The Agenda 21 is the pandemic, the coronavirus. Okay, this implement the Agenda 21 is a default implementation. Okay, these societies, this 1%, their forefathers gave them an escape code, a backup plan. Their escape code, their backup plan was that if one day everything that they're trying to do for their society gets out of whack, gets compromised by the human race, by the regular bloodline, by the original average American, by we're God's children. We're the descendants of Adam, the descendants of Eve. They're the descendants of Cain. They're the descendants of the Watchers, the fallen angels, because they're Zionists as well. And these are the Jesuits, and they represent a murderous bloodline. They're and Rabbi Abe Finkelstein has spoken about this. Their father is Cain. Their father was the first murderer in history. Their father that they represent, this Jesuit Zionistic regime, which is under the Rosicrucians, which is our American and partial Bavarian Illuminati with our Freemason society. So they're Zionist. The Agenda 21 is to make this a one world Zionistic government. Okay? The Agenda 21 is the end game in totality, in whole. Agenda 21, it's a constructed blueprinted plan. This plan was well thought of. It was a scapegoat plan by their forefathers in the 1960s. The reason for this was before the 1960s, and I believe 1962 was about the time the classes additionalized, meaning there were only two classes at one time. There was the high class, low class, rich class, poor class. That was it. It was about the time of 1962, during the Neolithic Revolution, and right after the assassination of JFK, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King. There was a lot of rioting. The next thing that happened was a baby boom crisis. People started warring against the government. Woodstock came. People started. Because the World War II, all of this was another depopulation process. So everything at the time was according to the Neolithic Revolution, and like I said, it was after um, the assassination of you know these high end people, the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther Kings, the JFKs. People started, saying love, not hate, and everybody started just this became something worldly. Peace. The peace sign became relevant, and Bob Marley started um, singing music, and you had John Lennon and you had the Beatles. You had all of these people singing music that were against war. It was war, not peace. You know, and people started loving more, and this caused a baby boom crisis. This is what they call it, the baby. If you go into the Behold the Pale Horse, Michael Cooper's Behold the Pale Horse, he speaks about this. He speaks about this whole revolution during the Neolithic Revolution. It started the baby boom crisis. So the baby boom crisis brought more people into the world. You know, this brought the. It's something like this. Let's say the a person that smokes a cigarette every day. They're absorbing cigarette smoke inhalation every day. Their system is getting congested, but they only smoke a cigarette a day. So they're dying, but they're not dying as much as a person that smokes a cigarette back to back. Now, if a person smokes a cigarette back to back, back to back, back to back, their immune system is getting congested even more. They're fully congested. This person is suffocating their inner organs a lot more than the person having the one cigarette per day. So this person is dying a lot faster. So during this Neolithic revolution, the baby boom crisis, this 1% elite felt that the world was being suffocated by humans. That the more people come into fruition, the more oxygen depletes from the earth. So the more congested the earth becomes. So now they have something, these elites have something called the Doomsday Clock. Where this clock, it's in NASA. They have it in their NASA facility. This clock is supposedly a clock that predicts the end game of the world, the end time of the world.
You're talking about the Doomsday Clock, yes.
Yes, the Doomsday Clock. And this clock, when there's a baby boom crisis, this clock speeds up. And the scientists see this. So when they see that they can cause something to cause a taint in our society and implement like some sort of depopulation increase to our society, the clock slows down. The more congested the earth becomes of human population, the more oxygen decreases from our earth, and they feel the more the earth is being deprived of life. So their end goal, what their one of their theories on their end goal is to keep the earth as alive as long as they can, so they can continue on with their technology and implementing whatever they can. you know First of all, they have to implement laws to the human population. They live this society lives off of energy. Energy comes from minerals. We live when God created the human race. Now, I'm going to explain something to people why I'm called Alkaline City. Okay, my name is Alkaline City. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a philanthropist. I'm an advocate. I'm an activist. I activate for a person called Dr. Sabi and his teachings. I advocate for him. I live a electric lifestyle. This is called a cell food lifestyle, a plant-based lifestyle, an alkaline electric lifestyle. What does alkaline mean? Alkaline means electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic energy. When God created the first humans, whether it was Adam and Eve, Samantha and Bob, Harry and Sally, whoever were the first humans that were created on this planet, they were created with this electromagnetic energy. This energy is the basis of our human biology. This energy is the real ethereal energy. This energy is the real energy. We carry this energy. These elites are about harnessing energy. Each human carries this godly energy. This alkaline
We're running out of
electric
time
energy.
here, by the way. I'm going to have to stop this conversation. I do want to thank you tremendously for being a part of the program, my friend. I had a great time with you here, and I do want to continue the conversation with you, but I'm going to have to invite you back on, my friend.
Okay, so we'll cut this shorter, but before we end this program, because there's so much we can get into.
There's a lot to
Michael.
talk to tonight. Yes, no doubt. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there's so much further we can go with it. But just to cut it short, so we harness this energy. This is our human biology is created off this energy. Our human biology is ran by something called our pH balance. Our pH balance is ran through numbers. The numbers are 0 to 14. Okay? 7 is neutral. That's the neutral balance. That's the medium. That's the middle of this balance. 6.9 to 0 is the acidic side of our balance. That side is called acidosis. 7.1 to 14 is the side that God created us in. This is the side of this alkaline energy. This is our alkaline side. The average human was created between the likes of a 7.2 on a pH scale to a 9.8 on a pH scale. We were born alkaline humans, meaning that when we eat, we live off of natural minerals. Our body lives off of things that are alive, that have this alkaline electric energy. The only thing that has alkaline electric energy are natural fruits and vegetables. If something is unnatural, if something is not a fruit or vegetable and it's just something called a food, it wasn't put down on this earth by our God, our creator. It's not alive. It doesn't have these natural minerals. It's mineralless. It's something called acidic, which is acidity. Acidity is the basis for disease. Disease is what kills us. When our bodies become acidic, we get anything from the common cold to cancer, to AIDS, to diabetes, to sickle cell anemia, to every disease in the world, to the coronavirus. When our body is in an alkaline state, disease cannot exist. So if you had something like AIDS, sickle cell anemia, cancer, diabetes, coronavirus, and you converted your body into an alkaline state, all of these diseases will diminish. They will evaporate out your system. You will live in a disease-free state. That's God's state. The alkaline state on the pH balance is the state of God. The state of acidity, the 6.9 to below state, the state of disease of coronavirus and all these other diseases, is the state of Lucifer, of Satan himself.
All right, thank you, my friend. We're going to have to cut you off here, but again, thank you so much for being a part of the program.
I apologize.
That's all good. Don't worry.
I know you have things to do.
We got shit to do here. Don't worry. But yes, I do want to thank you for being a part of the program. Check them out, Alkaline City, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, Alkaline City on email, Alkaline on 2018 on Gmail, Alkaline City on YouTube, Alkaline City on Instagram. Mr. Decon, we'll run a part 2, a part 3,
we definitely
a part 4,
will,
and a part 5.
We will. Don't worry.
Other than that, I appreciate everybody who came out in the chat room. Thank you
Yes.
guys for showing up. And thank you guys for your time. Mr.
Love
Decon,
that.
once again, the opportunity was highly appreciated. The honor
You
is all
got
mine.
it.
And you have a beautiful night.
It was fun. Thank you so much. We'll do it again, my friend. Take care.
God bless.
Good night. God bless. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Check him out, Alkaline City. And yes, he has lots to say. Very excited here tonight, as we all are. And of course, we do have the prayer before we cast off here tonight. I know many of you have been waiting for this one. So here we go.
Put your hand on that television set.
Oh my.
Yes, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Jesus.
This is for those with COVID.
Thank you, Lord Jesus.
We're going to get rid of COVID for you. Don't worry.
He receive your healing.
Receive that healing.
Now. Say it, I take it.
I take it.
I have it.
I have it.
It's mine.
It's mine.
I thank you and praise you for it.
Yes, Lord.
And I forgive if I have aught against any. And I praise you that I'm well and whole.
Praise baby Jesus, yes.
According to the word of God,
According to the word of God.
I'm healed.
I'm healed now.
And I consider not my own body.
Yes, consider not my own body.
I consider not symptoms in my body.
I consider not symptoms in my
But
body.
only that which God has promised.
Only that which God has.
Only that what the Word has said.
Only that what the word.
And by His stripes I was healed. And by His stripes I am healed now. I'm not the sick trying to get healed. I'm the healed, and the devil's trying to give me the flu.
That's right.
Or whatever else kind of thing he's trying.
Yeah.
Healed and well
Yes.
in the sweet name of Jesus.
Jesus.
I feel better already.
Yeah.
Amen.
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 Hallelujah.
Oh my God. I forget about the hallelujah part all the time, though. That just frightens me all the time. And yes, that was our friend, Mr. Kenneth Copeland. Great guy, yeah. I think he's a great guy. I've never met him, but I'm sure he's not too bad, right? And of course, we should finish this off with a little bit of Paula White.
Wherever I go, God rules.
God rules, yes.
When I walk on White House grounds, God walks on White House grounds.
That's right.
I had every right and authority to declare the White House as holy ground because I was standing there, and where I stand.
I wonder if that's offensive to anyone, by the way, claiming that the White House is holy grounds. Can you believe that? Holy grounds.
And is holy.
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't do that.
We are in a spiritual war right now.
It's a
Let every
spiritual war.
demonic network that has aligned itself against the purpose, against the calling of President Trump, let it be broken. Let it be torn down in the name of Jesus.
You want me to tell you what my thoughts are? The thoughts of the King of Kings. The
There we
thoughts
go.
of the Lord of Lords. I'm
Yeah,
downloading
thanks for
heaven.
subscribing, yeah. For Jesus. The fuck is she saying?
I kind of know I'm a little bit cute, all right?
A little bit cute.
Paula, who is pretty. Well, maybe I'm not going to be pretty when I'm 90 years old.
Here's this former messed up Mississippi girl, lived in a trailer that they called trailer trash.
Trailer trash.
Daddy committed suicide, got pregnant out of wedlock,
Mm.
been married, been divorced.
I mean, this
Not just
audio never
once,
gets old.
You know, twice.
People go, well, how'd you become the spiritual advisor of the president? We'll get to that later. It's all in there. Michael Jackson, Kid Rock, the president.
Michael
It's all
Jackson.
in there, all right?
Thank you, Paula. What a great job you do, the evangelicals.
Love
I
that.
hear we're more popular than ever with the evangelicals. You're the only one, and she'll tell the truth. She'll only tell the truth.
Southern California is looking at well, there's already law that's passed through the governor that says the Bible is a book of hate speech and to ban the sale of it.
Snapchat was created as the largest human trafficking because the greatest people on there were human traffickers because the FBI and because intelligence could not do it because it's live and it's real time and they can track your kid in less than a second and take them.
Oh,
There's
shit.
a Department of Treasury in heaven that God is watching over everything you do, and you are storing up eternal treasure that will go so far beyond, I think, that we can even begin to imagine. So you need to send in $3,500.
And that was Paula White. Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. That was fantastic. And of course, looking at the clock now, my goodness, time has flown right by. And I do want to thank all of you out there this evening. Thanks for being a part of the program yet again. That was quite an interesting show, I have to say. And remember, you can get a hold of me via Twitter or the chat room at Michael Decon. Send me a message there, and I'll do my best to respond to you. And don't forget, if you are a hardcore listener of the program and want to fund this show, please direct yourself to patreon.com/Michael Decon. And that is where you'll find more content, bonus content. Yes, Twatter. Get a hold of me on Twatter. That's at Michael Decon. And of course, if you want to donate via PayPal, go to michaeldecon.com. Any amount is good. And I'll also throw you a bone. I'll send you some episodes from Patreon. Help you get through the night. And for those that have already signed up for Patreon, I do want to thank all of you out there for that. I get plenty of emails from you in regards to Patreon. You guys really like those episodes. Me too. Those have been fun. Once again, patreon.com/Michael Decon. International listeners out there, thank you so much for your support. I really do mean that. You can find the podcast rendition of this program on iTunes, Google Play, Castbox, and Stitcher. You can find this program pretty much anywhere. Any of the popular podcast platforms, maybe even Spotify, unless they removed the show already. I'm not quite sure. This was fascinating as usual, and I'll try to return again very soon. Hopefully tomorrow or Monday, you will hear back from me. I promise. It's been fun doing these shows yet again. And my God, can you believe it? It was just the anniversary of 9/11 just yesterday. My God, how time flies. And I do want to thank those in the chat: Victoria, Robert, Wilfred, Bacon, Donovan. Yes, I see all of you out there. And I do want to thank everyone out there who hung out with us tonight, those who donated. I saw Christina donate. That was lovely. Love that. I appreciate all of you out there who have donated and signed up, as I just mentioned earlier. Keep doing that. It really encourages me to keep pushing forward with the program. Oh yeah. Keep donating, and I'll keep doing shows, no doubt. And I do wish all of you the very best. I don't want any of you to get sick. I don't want any of you to get the flu. Don't want any of you to get the AIDS, the cancer, the diabetes. So now is the time to boost your immune systems and take everything seriously. Take your health seriously. That's all we've got. Stay away from everyone, people. And Kimberly, yes, good night to you. And yes, we do miss Mike. He will return as well, don't worry. And with that said, the world is a mysterious place, and life itself is a mystery. Until next time, good night, everybody.